from the deepest depths of the dark web. Dark of the Night.
Hello, night crawlers, and welcome to another episode of Dark of the Night.
It's the show where we get to talk to you and you get to talk to us about everything paranormal, supernatural, the darker side of reality. I'm Alex Myers.
I'm Eric Yearwood. Folks, there's a lot of paranormal stuff happening all over the globe. We're excited to dig into it, to dig in deep.
There's so much paranormal stuff happening, Eric, that sometimes it feels like it's like a weight that's clawing into your body and it's just going to rip you apart. And that's why you need sometimes to experience something that lifts you up.
Yeah. Folks, there's paranormal stuff trying to claw its way down your face, and that's why you need some shaman, some guides through the night. And Alex and I are here to help guide you. Now, we've got a really exciting show tonight. We've got a guest who's going to talk to us about coming back from the dark side. Isn't that right, Alex?
So we have an amazing person tonight who went from human to zombie and back again.
I can't even believe that.
Yeah.
As the words are coming out of your mouth, I'm just like...
It's a sentence that shouldn't exist. It's a sentence that should be unable to be said truthfully.
And yet, I'm hearing the sounds.
Right. I'm not a professor of language, but these sounds should have never been able, I feel like, from some sort of scientific standpoint, the sounds zombie to human... No, human to zombie, back to human, those sounds should not be able to be combined.
Well, if I weren't reading your lips, I wouldn't know what you were talking about.
And when I say those words, I stop understanding what I'm saying.
We're going to have Chet Siegel here to talk about her journey to zombie and back again. So that's going to be something we're really, really excited about.
It's a very exciting, it puts me in a very happy mood. We want to hear your calls tonight, Night Crawlers. We want to hear your thoughts about redemption, about zombies, and about your lives encountering the supernatural. Eric, I'm ready to sort of dig into some of these supernatural, paranormal events.
Yeah, well, again, we want to hear your calls. We've got the number on the screen. If you're just, sometimes we do calls a little later in the show, but we're like, let's ram it right in.
Yeah,
call us. Go ahead and call us anytime.
We're calling an audible on when we do calls. And if I would have had more time of how to say that sentence, I wouldn't have said call twice.
Yeah.
Basically.
Well, we cannot wait to talk to you. And we can't wait to talk about current events. So, as we often do, we're going to kick off the show with some paranormal headlines.
So, what it says on screen is that zombie raccoons are roaming around.
And it also says that for $271, you could get a sale on groceries, which is good.
Both are, one is good, and one is fine. Because here's how I feel about animals, Eric. There is no animal that I fear because I can defeat them all. I can not sometimes physically, sometimes mentally.
Well, look, let me, Brian, can you give me a close-up?
And sometimes he can't, and that's
Right,
what's interesting
sometimes he
about this
can't.
show.
Because the fact is that human beings are top predators. I watched a Ken Burns Vietnam documentary recently, and one of the interviewees made the comment, "We didn't become top predators being nice, you know." And Alex, so if there's an animal out there that you encounter and you know it's going to be a face-off, it's either you or them, you've got to take quick, decisive action to dismantle that threat as fast as you can.
Right. Well, here's... I feel uncomfortable going outside. And so, but I've gotten to a place where I feel better about it because I start... Here's my secret. Anything I see that's not human, here's my first thought. And I promise myself I'm not going to follow up on this thought. But just to make myself feel better, here's my first thought. I'm going to kill that thing. Anything I see that's not human, I promise that I'm going to kill it. And
that's problematic because you live right next to a dog park.
Right.
Now, what you were describing just then is agoraphobia. But I know you don't have that because I know that we don't believe in terms like that.
No, I don't.
Or psychology.
We don't believe.
Period.
Right. We don't believe in psychology, period. However, I do think that thoughts are useful tools. And so a thought is I think of a thought as a ladder. A series of thoughts, a paragraph is a ladder to climb on top of a building. And that building is a way of life. And so every time I like to organize my thoughts on different subjects and sort of go through an entire paragraph of thoughts in my heads depending on what I'm looking at.
Well, and I'm having great difficulty following you. But what I'm hearing is that because you believe that all non-human life deserves to die, then that takes you to a place where you're somehow that's where I stopped understanding what you were saying.
Right. So here, just because I can tell we should move on from this.
Sure.
But here, I just want to top line what it is I'm saying. Okay, if I had to cliff notes what I'm saying, every time I see an animal, I think to myself, I'm going to kill that thing.
Okay, well.
And that is the first thought in a series of thoughts that creates a new mood for me.
Well, I did not know you felt that way, and we should not probably broadcast that at the top of the show. We can talk about that off camera. But one thing we should go on to the next subject, but put a pin in that because that is something I did not expect you to say.
Yeah, the cool thing about this show is that there are certain topics off limits, but we never say that. We always just put a pin in it.
Folks, our next headline here is Men Like Mario Batali Need Rehabilitation, Not Redemption. I think he's a chef, and I want to say that he's a pervert of some sort.
Right.
I'm not familiar with the story about whatever he's done, but he didn't look healthy.
Right. Well, here's what I want to say about that particular headline. I wish and it's fine that we did, but I wish we hadn't have picked that headline. Because
now we're going to have to go into
we won't have to
rocky territory.
Right. Or we have two options at this point, and we're going to do the segment. We're going to finish out this headline, but we will at least consider removing this in post.
You know, this kind of thing about this guy and whatever he did that was bad. It's the kind of thing that two cowboys talk about when they're out on a chuck wagon trail.
But they don't talk about it on live internet.
Yeah, very few we're one of the only, and we're not real cowboys. We're sort of like proto-cowboys. And we happen to have an audience of not thousands, but at least 5 people, I would guess, are watching this now. Well, and we don't want to talk about that unless we're eating beans, getting ready to go to sleep on the campfire.
Well, we're beating around the bush.
And you should be careful because that could be misconstrued.
Right. And this is exactly why I didn't want to. This is exactly why I truly, truly regret doing this headline. And let's get down to it. And that sentence doesn't sound great either. Mario Batali, I believe, committed some sort of act to sort of put him within the names of famous men who've been affected by the Me Too movement. Who've been rightfully brought down, and yet he somehow made his way onto our show.
Well, it's a shame because he's got one of those names, and you can tell by looking at him, that guy knows how to cook. And so whatever he did, I wish we could just reverse it. I wish it never had happened because I would love to sample some of his delicacies.
Yeah, I want to round this out by, if Mario Batali had, and I don't wish this per se, but let's just imagine for a second, if Mario Batali had never been born, then we would be in a better place, individually.
Well, we ought to map that out and graph that out before we decide that.
Right.
Absolutely. Because it's like the butterfly effect. If he had never been born, then Miley Cyrus would have never had a number one single.
And that wouldn't work.
Our director is telling us we should probably move on. So what's our next headline here? A graveyard committee plans cemetery spring cleanup. I never understood why people go and clean up trash, because trash just seems like one of those things where the more you clean it up, the more trash there is.
Yeah. When there's trash, that's it. It's finished. It's done. That's what trash is.
The cycle is complete.
It's at the end of its. It's like, so I'm trying to think through why you'd want to clean up trash, because I'm on the same page with you, and maybe I have a poor imagination, but I cannot think of. By the way, I don't
litter, but if I did, I would start with just drinking a Coke and throwing it out the window. And if I hit a cyclist, well, then that's my bad, I guess.
Look, as a paranormal activist, my interest is in the world beyond, and the things that are, if not in another dimension, out of this world metaphorically.
Right. And trash it's so tangible, it's so corporeal. I don't want to think about trash. Give me a receipt. Give me a plastic bag. Yeah, I'll throw it on the ground. I'm thinking about ghosts. I'm thinking about Sasquatch, aliens. That's my bread and butter.
Right. Now we don't condone. I don't want the ground to be covered with litter. However, if I have trash in my pockets, I throw it on the ground because I need to get it away from me.
Yeah. Trash is burning a hole in my pocket. It's not dollar bills. I wish I had more of those, but I do have a lot of receipts. My pants are full to the bursting with receipts, and I want to get them out of there as fast as possible.
Yeah, just give you more context. Eric and I have so much garbage in our coats right now.
It's disgusting. If
you understood how much garbage we had in our coats, you would understand why we want to litter.
Human beings were given asses that they litter. Litter comes out of your body. So naturally you're going to want to throw stuff on the ground.
Right.
You throw shit on the ground. You throw it on the ground. I don't know. I get passionate about this because it's something that I feel like takes our minds away from what's important.
Again, we're taking your calls, and I just want to say this. We are not telling you to litter.
No.
And we're not telling us to litter.
No.
But it's perfectly natural to take all the trash out of your pockets and throw it on the ground. Is all we're saying.
What's our next subject here? Drug-resistant nightmare bacteria pose growing threat. Oh, my Lord.
So I pulled this up, and
this is scary.
If I wasn't in such a great mood tonight, I would say don't do that one. But because it's sincere, I mean, that's the CDC. This isn't a fake news website. I mean, that's actually something that's reported. So there's a
Well,
My mood is getting worse now that I'm actually thinking about this, but
that one time when you got in a bicycle accident and I came to see you in the hospital, that's why I was wearing, I had duct taped a bunch of garbage bags together all over my body, because I knew the superbugs are in the hospitals. Stay out of there. If you get hurt, stay out of the hospital.
well, here's
Go to a medicine man or some natural herbalist.
and I got better. So your anger, and I am making this up, but it's also true. I'm guessing because I'm sitting here. I'm fine. So I'm guessing here's what happened, and I don't know how.
You're sweating a little bit. but
I am sweating because I'm afraid of what I'm about to say. Eric's anger cleansed my body. It turned my sickness into air, and then the air went out the window, and then that air went into outer space. And again,
it's fun. It's funny because
it's funny because it's so great.
Better now. If you had seen his head was split open and
Yeah.
there were brains just everywhere.
It's sort of a funny story. It's sort of like, remember that time when we got locked out? I'm making this up.
Yeah.
But it's like, oh, I got locked out, and then I ripped my pants, and then I had a job interview.
Yeah.
That's the way we're laughing.
Yeah. Nevertheless, these superbugs are real and they're scary
And they're coming.
and they're coming.
But with a good attitude.
With a good attitude, anything's possible.
Right.
Folks, we are really excited to introduce tonight's guest. This is an author of a really important book. Let's go ahead and put it on screen here. The author of Back from the Dead, a step-by-step guide to zombie rehab.
Look at how healthy and happy. First of all, great color red, great color blue. Just
Yeah.
a healthy set of colors on that book.
Yeah, and the author is Chet Siegel, who... Oh, and we've got a call.
We've got a call.
Let's welcome Chet in. Chet, we can take our first call all together here. This is really exciting.
This is really exciting. Hey there, Chet.
Hi, Chet.
Chet, you look fantastic.
Chet, you look
I
great.
just want to shake your hand.
You shake her hand. I'll greet the caller. Hello, you're on the line with Dark of the Night. Who's calling, please?
How you doing? This is Saul from Syosset.
Saul from Syosset.
Hey, Saul, how you doing? You're on Dark of the Night.
Oh, so good to hear you. I just wanted to know, can Chet's anger clear my soul as well? Is that possible?
Chet.
Well, Chet, you don't seem like an angry person. First off,
Who, me? Saul?
we
Saul, we're checking in with Chet now to see if she has the anger.
and we're not getting any volume. It seems on Chet's mic, which is. Yeah. Well,
Saul, stand by. Chet, I'm going to bring you my mic for a second, so you can get in on this fun. So we're getting you an answer directly from a working microphone.
yes.
Oh, great.
Saul, what ails you?
Oh, so is this Chet?
Yes, you're talking to
Hi,
Chet. Hi.
Hey, Chet, how are you? So...
Never felt better. I'm back to normal.
I have a lot of things that certainly come up for me in terms of my life, and I have a farm that more of a farming technique that I host in my basement, and I'm just trying to figure out how I can get more dirt in the area. I'm looking for local dirt.
Local dirt. Are you speaking of soil or hot goss?
Hot goss.
I want to just interject, and now this is just food for thought, Sal. I feel like you may be having, again, just throwing it out there, you may be having what's known as a nervous breakdown. Because Sal, you don't now. Again, food for thought. I don't fully understand your situation, but Eric, what do you think of having a farm in a basement?
Well, let me just say two things. First, I think I want to celebrate the unorthodox interview technique of not actually introducing and talking to a guest about what they're here to talk about, but just kind of kicking things
Hey,
off.
there's nothing orthodox about how I ended up here. Okay, I've been a
Right.
woman, I've been a zombie, and I'm back to being a woman again. So
Well, we're really excited. We're going to dig into that. So I don't know anything about your basement. I don't know what you're doing down there. It's distress. It sounds unnatural, and so I would probably tell you to call the cops on yourself, and I would probably.
I already have. I've already called the cops plenty of times. I've called the cops plenty of times with myself, and all they say is, "Well, we don't know where to get the dirt." All right, so stop
Sometimes-
calling you. Go call your nursery. I don't, and honestly, frankly, I thought that was a very passive aggressive dig that you threw out there very much before. And you know what? I just have to be clear. I don't like when people get passive aggressive, and also I don't like when I go get my dirt recommendations. Okay.
Well, with that, I think we're probably going to have to let bygones be bygones. But thanks so much, Saul, for calling in.
I wish you a lot of luck, Saul. And sometimes the best course is to be your own police. I'm going to leave you with that.
Oh,
Can we hang up on
Okay.
Saul, please, before he starts to curse us out? Great, thank you.
That was the perfect ending. Now I want to sort of check in with our team over here, and I want to sort of kick things off with you guys. Eric, why don't you lead the way?
Chet, tell us a little bit about your journey, because I understand you started out a human woman. Am I correct about
That's
that?
very true. I was born a human woman.
Not everybody is born a woman.
No,
I understand that there are varieties of people that
there's a
are
huge
born.
spectrum.
So you grew up as a woman,
Mm-hmm.
and then at some point, you became a zombie. Now that sounds scary. Was it scary? Was it scary, or was it like, oh, hey, this is just something that's happening?
It was frightening and it hurt. So what happened was I was just walking. I was walking my dog. It was a normal evening, and I got accosted by a zombie man. A real bite and run.
Yeah.
So I was bitten. The man left. And almost instantly, I felt my whole life drain out of my body. All my memories disappeared. That's something they don't tell you. So when you become a zombie, everything you know is gone. You know nothing. And your interior monologue is just replaced with quest for food.
Well, now I've never been high, but I hear
Okay.
that part of why people get high is because, hey, I can check out of reality. So was there any sort of sweet release in your memories leaving, or was this all bad?
Well, it felt like every part of me was on a sharp fire.
A shark fire.
A sharp fire.
A sharp fire.
Sharp and burning, the whole of me. So I would say that there were moments where, the pain peaked in the body, the body's protection systems kicked in, a little bit of endorphins kicked in, and I felt a little better. But ultimately, being a zombie was, it was horrible. It was the worst time of not my life.
And how do you feel now?
I feel 100% back.
That's like I feel like that's kind of like an awesome tagline. Like it almost sounds like I'll be back.
But I am back. I'm here.
I talk like that every once in a while because you've got a funny. Where are you? Are you from the Midwest?
Funny you should ask. I'm not. I'm from the South.
Well, because sometimes people in the West, in the Midwest, I used to go to this place, Bill's Donuts. I would go there after church with my family.
Sounds wholesome.
And when the guy, I would say, "Can I have a sour cream donut?" And he'd say, "Yeah, you bet, you bet." And that's kind of what you did there, which was
Very cool. This show is, if we had a mission statement other than the paranormal, the show is about cool moments.
Cool.
And what's happening now is a cool moment. We're seeing a person. I want everyone to think about this. We're seeing a person who just a few months ago,
Weeks.
just a few weeks ago, was literally murdering in the classic style of a zombie.
And in the classic style of any number of great films, like Blade, even though that was vampires.
Right, but there was some
It was
eating.
gratuitous murdering.
Silent Hill.
Right. There's just imagine murder. She was doing it. There you go.
Yeah.
And now she's better.
I used to teach children before I became a zombie, and in some of my depths of darkness, I ate children.
Now,
Life comes full circle.
and that's the point. That's the point of why we had you on, is because you've come full circle. You've come back as a human woman. You are a human woman.
I am a human woman. There's nothing zombie about me at all. I am back.
So, Chet, walk us through your book, Back from the Dead.
Yes.
You have 4 steps.
Very easy steps.
And you're going to take us through those 4 steps over the course of this show.
Yes, yes. So step 1.
This guy is doing something that
Is he a threat?
he's not a threat, and that's why I like step 1.
Yeah, tell us step 1.
Step 1. Speak complete sentences.
Speak in complete
Speak in
sentences.
complete sentences.
It's not easy, is it?
No, when you are a zombie, you speak in fragments.
Right.
It's too urgent
Right.
to get through a full sentence.
Right. So
Let's-
for example,
Yeah.
what would what's an example?
Here's
of
an
a
example of normal conversation. A job interview.
Great.
Let's say you find yourself recovering from zombieism and you are at a job interview.
I'll tell you what. Let's do you one better. We've simulated a job interview. Let's.
Oh, wow.
Maybe we could be the applicants.
Yeah.
Great.
And you could maybe be the boss. And hey,
Wonderful.
you interview us, and
We'll
you can
be
kind
zo-
of tell us.
We're zombies trying to get the same job.
Wonderful.
Okay, so here we go. I'd like a job.
Thank you so much for coming.
I took a job.
Pause.
Great.
Let's talk about that moment. You have a strong tell. It's the slurring.
Right.
You didn't finish that thought. You let your zombie brain take over. And your brain said, job. And you've got to gain control of your jaw. Say, I would like job.
And what are some of the things that go through an employer's head in that moment? Like, like if let's say, if I want to work at,
Best Buy.
Best Buy. That's where I work.
Great. It's a great place.
It-
So if I'm an employer at a Best Buy, what I'm looking for is people who know where all the cords are, people who can communicate, people who can make eye contact, but not hungry eye contact.
So if,
That's
if
another problem with being a zombie.
hungry icon,
Lusting hungrily with your eyes.
because you might look at someone who you're doing business with, and your eyes are just saying like, I want some of that, right?
Right. So let's say I would ask you about your experience, okay, in a job interview. So
Okay.
let's try a question.
Okay.
Gentlemen, what's your experience? Your job experience?
Guy, car. I
Right.
could say that. I might say that.
Is that should we pause yet? Because I think
I
he has
think we had a
tell.
problem there. Car is not a job. you would want to give some more information. What did you do with this car? Were you a mechanic? That's a question.
I don't know. I was sort of so lost in the role. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Just say any job. When asked what was your previous experience, just say any job. That's one that doesn't have to be in a complete sentence.
Yeah, this is sort of we've sort of moved one step further. Now we're learning how to make things up.
I feel like I could just write a million things down. I wish I had a journal and I was just journaling your every word.
This is actually we don't have great imaginations. And so this imagining this so far has actually been extremely difficult for us.
Okay. Well, another thing you want to do is talk about the amount of money you made at your previous job.
Great.
Well,
so let's roll. So, gentlemen, what sort of jobs or what sort of benefits or salary did you have at your previous position?
this is tough because we don't. We haven't had a lot of shows.
$200,000 a second.
That's a very well compensated job. Now, gentlemen, I feel like what you're struggling with, more so than how to keep your wits about you and try to appear human while you're going through the throes of zombieism, is it sounds like you guys have never applied for a job. This is maybe a bad simulation only because you seem underprepared for any job interview.
Well, let's first of all, let's let's clear that up. Fair point. I think I would tweak that, and I would say I've never really prepared for a job interview.
Okay.
And I always try to forget them afterwards.
I've only put ads in the classifieds that said, I need a job, and then they found me. And they said, you're hired. And then I was like, what is the job? And then they said, picking up my kids at the airport every day.
Every single day you picked up a set of kids from an airport.
And then I just drop them off at the mall.
We've done lots of things. Some of them weren't great. But what I've been feeling, though, just because I believe our director's saying that we're getting towards the end of this segment, it's very cool that, I mean, this was so hard for us.
Hard.
Yeah.
This is hard for us, and we shouldn't really have a problem doing it, but it was so difficult for us to do this.
Imagine also on top of that, struggling with zombieism.
Do you ever have any zombies come up or ex-zombies and they must say, thank you so much, your advice changed my life?
Absolutely. The tough thing is, though, once you get over being a zombie, they tell you never actually hang out with other zombies. It can help.
Makes sense.
It's a thing where you can slide back into old habits.
Yeah, right.
It's tough.
Because one night you'll be, I don't know,
swinging a chain around in the yard.
Yeah. Is that the fun thing that's happening?
I mean, I'm just saying, if I was a zombie,
is that what they got together to do? I'm just trying to follow it because I want to build on your. Let's just move on.
Well, great. So step two. So step one, speak in complete sentences.
Sure.
Zombies drag out words and speak in fragments. Step two is to eat like a normal person.
Now, I'm very excited about. Now, Eric and I like to eat. Go ahead. Let's bring it on out, Chris. What Chet has prepared for us is she's going to make us a little meal.
Yes. This is standard weeknight meatloaf. Okay, folks? So, so we want to ease you viewers at home